Jermaine Nkrumah, executive producer for Wrong Target. From a genre standpoint, we took a lot of chances, took a lot of risk with this movie. From a clear departure from the traditional storylines that have dominated the Ghanaian movie industry, and to the introduction of some relatively new cast members playing vital roles in this movie. We did really take a lot of risk with this movie, but thank God we have help from director Samuel Owusu-Asari's ingenuity and phenomenal performances that we have come to expect from stars like John Dumelo and Yvonne Nelson. I think we ended up with a very good product. But given that this is our first endeavor into the industry, Blu-ray Pictures, it was imperative that we sought the opinions of those who actually made this movie happen to see what they thought about it. So, let's go.
Face reality.
To hell with you on your bloody day!
With my husband, and you expect me to forgive you? Please listen to me.
This storyline meets it. I would say that it's a balance. It's a 50-50. I mean, 50% of what we used to do and 50% of what we are yet to do kind of storyline, you know. Most often than not, people don't want to take that risk. People don't want to do different storylines, you know, because they know that, or they think that it will not sell. But I think this was a very good storyline.
When I got the script, first the concept, I was like, this is the kind of story that I want, because as a director you need to challenge yourself. You need to put a challenge that you can do something different from what others are doing. So the first thing that I said to myself is thank God for such a concept, such a script, because that has been my dream, to direct a challenging story.
Most of the films you see these days, basically the same underlying story, you know, guy meets girl, fall in love, or some chief's daughter, you know, wants to marry this one or don't marry them. A little bit of voodoo here and there, you know. But this was a really nice departure from that. This was a genuine modern story. That's my take of it. And it dealt with things that are current in this generation. You know, cyber fraud, you know, elements like that. So it was a really, really welcome departure.
The storyline was quite catchy. I think there was a bit of suspense, there was a bit of action, romance. I think all of it blended together makes it really cool.
It's a very challenging story, and we look up for more good stories like this to come. So I think
the storyline is so tight, gangster movie if I'll call it. I mean, just one in a million. I mean, it wasn't like our everyday love story. Yeah, it wasn't all this love story we normally shoot in Ghana.
The first time I read the script, I thought from the beginning, I thought this was an everyday story. Like, even though it starts off with an everyday plot, we see two married people, there's a secretary, people just suspect that once the secretary is beautiful or seductive, something's going to happen. But as the plot goes on, there's some twist, there's a turn, there's this surprise, and it doesn't go just the way we all expect it to go. So I like that surprising factor in the story. There's some suspense.
It was quite different from the ordinary stories, I mean, where you see, no disrespect to movie makers, but some stories, when you see from the beginning, you know exactly what's going to happen in the end. But with the twist in this story, and with the mechanism being put into place to make it what it is, I think it was better because it had some real moral lessons, and I think that was very good.
oh, I was like, this is amazing. I got to meet the guy who wrote this. And it was quite, you know, a challenging story because I've never played anything like that. When I read it, you know, I was like, okay, fine, I need to do this film. I need to play a role. I need to accept the role. Sometimes I read scripts, I'm like, you know, I've done this before, I've done it so many times, so, you know, I don't want to do I need to challenge myself these days. So I think this was a good challenge for me, and yes, so the storyline was excellent.
John Dumelo delivered a sizzling performance to underscore his determination to absolutely nail what he considered to be a challenging role for him. Here, for example, as he steps out from a shop, he's confronted by Naked, who's the gang's point person to deal with him. But in a game of blinksmanship, John Dumelo expectedly came out on top, leaving the gang to wonder if they picked on the wrong target.
I think the director is perfect. Thumbs up to him. He's good, he's cool, I mean, he gives good directives. I mean, he's calm. And I think Ghana should have a type of director like that, because I mean, if you have directors who are like harsh and they don't have patience, I mean, you don't get to produce movies, you don't get to produce quality movies if you keep on putting pressure on the actors and actresses. So
the director is cool and good, and I hope I campaign for him that more producers to just look up for him to do more jobs, because he happens to be a director and an editor, so he knows every shot he's taking when you talk about like technical wise. So the director is cool, and then he's a very nice person to work out with.
I love things being done the natural way. That is me.
Okay.
And I think that as a director, you need not to be the so-called harsh on your artists when they are doing the wrong things. You know, you need to put them in the right mood to get what you want. At the end of the day, when you shout on your artist, I think you put him out of character, and that is not what you need as a director. You need to take your time for the person to get into the character that he or she is supposed to play.
He had a vision, a clear vision of what he wanted to achieve, and he was able to articulate that, and so the artists, the actors were able to pick on that and deliver what, you know, in line with his vision. So
I heard of him, you know, through other productions, but you know, I heard he's an editor too, so I think it was kind of great because I could see him taking shots and directing and editing at the same time. Even though you got 9 shots and the director and the editor are not like, you know, they don't have a rapport, it doesn't go well.
the director is great. He's a young man, and he's wonderful. He's wonderful. You know, they're a very serious young man. And
he's good. He's good. He's a cool director. He's somebody very understanding, and yeah, he's very nice. He's a nice.
I have never worked with Sammy, but the truth is, I was so marveled at whatever. I mean, his directing. I mean, he took his shots so well.
When you have a director who knows how to edit already, you would find out that he knows the shot to take. You know, he knows the kind of shots to take. He knows what he needs for that scene. He's really up and coming fast, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to even play the film, because these days when I get a script, the first thing one of the things I ask is who's directing. Because there are some directors who are just whack. So I think he's good, and we should encourage him.
I think the director was spot on. I think he worked very hard. He was very passionate about this movie because he kept saying, Christopher, this movie is going to be the bomb, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, so just do this. So he kept encouraging the cast and the crew. So I think he did very well. And he was kind of telling the story through the characters, and I liked that.
A director's ingenuity comes in handy. Here, for example, we were going to have John Dumelo playing Kofi Agri, of course, just on a dime, have an affair with the secretary. But consistent with what we wanted to happen in this movie, that everything should be real, it should be natural. We needed a situation that kind of nudged him in that direction. So I remember we were at a restaurant one time talking about it, and Samuel just said, look, why don't we just create a rain? And I said, hey, how do you do that? But with the help of the fire department, one evening we were able to create what was a natural environment that most men would fall prey to, something like that. As you know, when it rains and people are wet, things can happen. And in this case, I think a lot of credit goes to Samuel for providing us with that option.
What intrigued me the most is the presence, well, your presence. That for me, you know, like I was telling you when we were on set, I was like, you know, sometimes you're on set and the executive producer is not there. You know what I mean? It messes things up. It doesn't encourage people. You know, if you leave things in the hands of, let's say, the production manager or, you know, the associate producer or whatever, sometimes it doesn't go well. You know, but sometimes too, it does go well. That's what intrigued me most about it, is that
executive producer, I think he's a really good person. He's really calm. I really admire him a lot. I really admire him for his patience and his cordial relationships with the actors. Not so many producers are like that.
I'll say naked because he handled his role in a different way. You know, when you watch the movie, you see that his own side is kind of different from any other character.
Yeah.
He carried it in a different way that I really enjoy watching him.
I thought because they were stars, I thought they would have, you know, packaged themselves in a way that you wouldn't easily access them. But I saw something quite different. When we were on set, they were placing themselves in no difficult position. They were always open up to us, and we had this good working relationship that makes the work easier and better for us.
I keep deceiving my girl at the same time, raping her, coming back to the squad, being a cocaine addict, being a 419.
We have some female leaders like Yasantua, so I just had to, I'm going to lead men, so I'm going to be the Yasantua of this set. So I took it cool.
When you have the executive producer being involved in it, being involved in the whole story, like not just pumping in money, I think that encourages all of us to put in our best. Because at the end of the day, it's not the fact that, okay, we've gotten paid, so we can just do whatever. We've gotten paid, yes, but we need to put in our best. So that's one of the things that intrigued me the most. I think by and large, you and Sammy had your little, you had an understanding going. It's not the fact that you come and say, yo, you know what, I want it shot this way. I'm the movie, I'm the owner of the film. I want to shot this way, so let's shoot it this way. I think both of you just came to a compromise. Both of you understood each other, and yes.
My crew members were very fantastic.
We have low-turn lighting and chiaroscuro lighting. Low-turn lighting is lighting without shadows, and chiaroscuro is dealing with shadows to tell the story. This production itself, I chose both techniques because some of the scenes needs shadows to explain the scene, and some also doesn't need shadows.
I got to know the kind of equipment you are going to work out with, working with G-Pops, working with dollies, and I got to know, wow, we are gradually getting up there.
One thing is, it's not only camera and tripod that we are using, we are also using jips to enhance the production. Some of the area shots needs jip because you can't use handheld or just a tripod to shoot the whole production, because this production needs a lot of movement, and we need to use jip in order to get successful production.
Working with such microphones like NTG1 and then the NTG2, stuff like that, I realized that it would be best I work with consoles and then mixers and NTG3 for this very production, because I know this very production is going out.
A scene from a luxury home, established neighborhood, popular neighborhood, and going to like a slum where the gangsters, where it kind of just switches your psyche.
Working with John and Yvonne Nelson is kind of relaxed. They are really professional actor and actress. John is cool, easygoing. He makes you feel good when you are directing him. He understands your role as a director, respects you in all aspects, give you the maximum respect that you need as a director. Even as one of the supernatural actresses we have in the country, she really takes time to understand the role that she's playing, and like I always say, you don't need too much exaggeration to let people know that you are putting much effort in your acting. They are really fantastic people to work with. They deliver natural.
John is cool. You know, John is always known as a humble person, so John is cool.
It was the first time playing a serious role with Yvonne Nelson, and she was something else.
Flo and Yvonne Nelson are really cool people. I got to speak to Dumelo personally, and that was my first time meeting him personally. I think he's really cool, friendly, cordial, and all that. And Yvonne Nelson, though she has some few, let me just reserve that. But I think they're all cool, you know.
My co-stars, I mean, they were excellent. Yvonne was excellent. This is the first film I'm doing with Yvonne over like the last 2 years or something.
Really?
So I mean, I was already excited, you know. As always, me and Yvonne have this little relationship. No, I mean relationship. Yeah, you know, Yvonne was exceptional. The gang was, the gang, you could see that those guys, well, I don't know if they've acted before, but you could see the enthusiasm, you could see the passion for the industry, for the filmmaking, you know, for filmmaking. You could see that they really wanted to learn, and, you know, they didn't come on set trying to be pompous, trying to be proud. And, you know, that's what I liked about the gang, and for the fact that, you know, they are new in the industry and they really want to be seen, you know, so they gave it their best shot. My father-in-law did exceptionally well as well.
John is everything you want in an actor. He's a great young man that I think will go a long way in this industry. I like working with John. No, I've never worked with Yvonne Nelson, but I have fun working with her. She was such a great actress to work with. As a matter of fact, she brought the best out of me. And
I've worked with John, and I've also worked with Yvonne Nelson as well. They're very cool going people. I mean, they are so nice to work with. And on this set, that's Wrong Target, I think they perform even more than what they've done. I think they are improving as, you know, as changes come, as new movie unfolds, they improve in their skills. And
Yvonne, John, I've worked with them before, and they're always great. And I think it was just it was a perfect casting. So I liked the cast in the movie because it contributed in telling the story in a very unique way. So I liked working with them because every one of them are just easygoing.
And how did it feel like being kidnapped and made to kneel down on a concrete floor?
I didn't enjoy the torture. I didn't like that, being pushed around, you know, taken to some faraway place. You don't know what's going to happen to you next. And even though it wasn't real, I just didn't want it to be real. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to be kidnapped.
Really? And the rain scene.
So cold. I was very cold. I mean, it was 2-3 a.m. in the morning. It was very cold at that time, and I was wet, and I had to be wet for a very long time. I couldn't dry myself up, and after that scene we had to move to the office to shoot the office scene, and all along I was still wet, and even had to splash me with more water. So it was terrible. But I loved that scene. I mean, I loved the rain scene. It was my favorite. I had a great experience working on the Blu-ray Pictures set. That's on the movie Wrong Target. I loved the experience on the set. Everyone was passionate about what they were doing. I liked the director's love for the job, the cast, the crew, the producer. I just liked the way everyone just wanted to work hard, not forgetting the makeup artist, the costumier. I just loved the hard-working spirit. The teamwork, I really appreciate it.
I liked it. I just like the whole, you know, ambience of the film. You know, some sets you go on it and it's just frustrating. You can't wait to finish. But I think this one, you know, I wish we were on set for like 2 or 3 more weeks. Like for Blu-ray, for this being the first film, I think they did exceptionally well. You know. I mean, you go on set with other people and they've done so many films, but it's still whack, you know. Okay. The organization is poor, everything is poor, but this was good.
Given that it's his first movie, first time I've heard of it, first time I've worked with them, I think it's going places. I really do think so. And if they continue to churn out storylines and plots, you know, well-woven plots such as this one, I think it's going to be a contender in the industry. Blu-ray is doing something completely different from the norm.
Very impressive. Blu-ray to me is going to make a mark in this film industry because what I saw on this set, I saw good work. I saw good crew members. I even saw a very down-to-earth executive producer. I also saw good equipment. And that which make the work even better. And yeah, bravo to Blu-ray if you ask me. Bravo.
Set was great. I mean, it was one of the best sets I've been on, you know. I mean, talking about welfare-wise, everything, it was planned, you know, time, shooting schedule, you know, how the business should be, if I should say. You know, everything on point, you know.
The audition, I mean, when I stepped there, the way it was organized, it went well because there are just a few auditions you go and then you see stuff like what I saw there, like the interview, our perception about the industry before the audition started. You know, there are several auditions you go and then they just like action you do and then you leave. But this one, it was totally different. I mean, this set too was one of the set I would say, I mean, I'll count it among the best because I think we had everything at its best.
This is one of the best organizations I've worked with so far. This one was very well organized. The producer made things easier for us. Welfare was good. You know, makeup is right there. Blu-ray is here to stay. They seem to know what they want, and they are very relaxed, cool, but they know what they want. And I think Blu-ray is one of the best that I've worked with so far.
I think if people see this movie and see that's the first thing they've done, they're gonna know like they mean business, you know. So all the other production houses better watch out.
Once again, I'd like to say thank you, and to you viewers, I'd like to say watch out for this very, very mind-blowing movie, Wrong Time.